right, so here's an interesting shoe. Today we're taking a look at the Nike Air Jordan 4 Retro Craft. Butterfingers over here dropped my sneaker. Anyway, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is Kicks on Kicks, the channel where I review sneakers. Today, we are looking at the Jordan 4 Retro SE Craft. And this is a pretty dope shoe. I don't know what the inspiration for this is, but there's a couple of different Jordans coming out with this craft name. These have been out a couple of weeks now at this point. But anyway, we'll take a look at the shoe, take a look at the packaging, talk about all of these design features that make them different from your typical Air Jordan 4, and then we'll get out of here. So let's go ahead and start the show off with the shoe from the bottom up. Look at that outsole. Let's turn this light a little bit. There we go. Look at that outsole. So this is your Jordan 4, and it's got basically like some light gray at the toe and heel. You got your sort of cream colored sail on the Jumpman, as well as the little insert there. A darker gray, almost like a brownish gray right there. I don't know. It's your standard Jordan 4 outsole, but with some nice little shades of gray. Now, looking at the shoe itself, this is pretty dope. Moving on to the midsole. Again, that sail really taking over. Really got to darken this scene up a little bit with this shoe. But anyway, that sail all over the midsole. Normally, I like the two-tone midsole on the Jordan 4 and Jordan 3s. This takes the sail all the way around, both top and bottom. But coming around to the front, you got that darker gray that you had there. Broken up by that sail colored pod, of course. And then we'll move on to the upper, where again, we got shades of gray and a bunch of different textures. Look at the upper of this shoe. So starting with your mud guard, you got a nice, really soft suede on the mud guard. And that takes you to like a sort of straight up smooth synthetic leather in a different shade of gray. It almost feels like so right here is a synthetic feeling leather, but then toward the back, we've got another panel broken up by this little seam right here. And this feels more like a full grain, like actually natural leather. That's going to crease up a little bit better. It's a little bit softer. But anyway, moving on to your wing, you've got a cracked leather, a sort of textured leather like you saw on the Air Jordan 1 Lost and Founds on your Jordan 4 wing right there. Same texture on the other wing on your medial side. Looking at the sort of where you would normally have your mesh panels, you've got a suede, but the suede has that pattern as if the mesh was there, made an imprint, and then left the building, right? So we've got like this sort of reverse mesh almost here on your lateral side. Same on this window on the medial side and on the tongue. I really like that feeling. It almost feels like it's quilted, but it's suede with the texture kind of built in there. Moving on to your ankle collar, you got more or even more cracked. Okay, so it looks like a cracked leather, but it feels like a cracked suede. That is wild. That is such an interesting texture. So you got that. And then, of course, on your lateral side, you got a sort of suede patch right there. Man, just so many textures on this shoe. It's honestly hard to describe. Coming around to the heel of the shoe, you got a nice little smoked out heel tab with a sort of pale yellow cream aged, like it was like a yellowed Jumpman there, with a sort of translucent heel tab. I like that a lot. Looking at your tongue, on the underside of your tongue, you got, it's a sock liner, is a pale yellow sock liner with your upside down Air Jordan, and a gray lace to kind of tie it all together. So this shoe is a bunch of shades of gray, a couple shades of pale yellow, and just like sort of, I don't know, yellowed translucent hits like on your little lace tips. A very, very interesting shoe. That's the shoe. Let's take a look at the packaging real quick. All right, so you got your shoe. This is not in your standard Jordan 4 box. Instead, you got that sort of hinge top box like you got on the black canvas. It's got that same sort of speckle pattern all over. It's a light gray base with a dark gray spackling. You got your flight tag with that nice little photon yellow on the Jumpman. Speaking of photon yellow, let's read the color codes off this box. It's the Air Jordan 4 Retro SE or Special Edition. Colors on this, Photon Dust and Pale Vanilla. Got these in the size 9 because I wear a size 9. And that's the packaging. Now, as far as legit checking these shoes, dog, I couldn't really tell you where to start. For one, the on my tongue, there's like a sort of zigzaggy pattern. I think that's just, kind of shoddy on the sewing machine there, right? So we got that. That might be a telltale sign. But other than that, I did go over these with a black light. I didn't find any pen marks or anything, which usually you see them all over a Jordan 4, but not this time. So without seeing these side by side with another of these, I couldn't really give you much legit checking indicators. So, I mean, if you want the shoe, you see a seller with the shoe, the price is right, it looks good to you, just grab it, man. All in all, I'm honestly surprised at how much I like this shoe. I saw this, saw a bunch of early photos, had a chance to get these, earlier in the year, and I was like, I'm good. But now that I've got them in hand, you got to have them in hand to really appreciate all these textures. Seeing the color, seeing the images online is one thing, but man, this shoe's got so many different feels to it. It's just a really cool piece. I don't know how often I would wear it because of all the suedes, and I don't want it to get dirty. Cleaning this could be a nightmare with all these different materials on it, but this is a cool shoe, a cool concept. I like the execution. I'm giving this a solid 8 out of 10, and that's going to do it for my review. I'll see you in another one soon. Peace.